Welcome everyone, I'm Jordan Sharp. Even though we still have 3 months to go till the start of the NFL season, all of the Week 1 NFL odds have been out for some time now, and there could still be some very, very early odds value in some of these plays. And I've identified 3 games in week number 1 that could have some really good ATS value. We'll start it off with some of the earlier games. The Kansas City Chiefs heading into Houston to play the Texans, and the Texans come in as only a 1.5 point favorite. And the offseason the Chiefs have had, losing some of their main defenders, really one of the worst run teams last season in regards to trying to stop the run, going into a team that really has a very balanced offense, and really only question mark is the quarterback position. I think the Houston Texans actually could be a very good value at -1.5 early on in the NFL season. Arian Foster is one of the best running backs in the entire NFL. J.J. Watt obviously is an extremely good defensive end that could get some pressure on Alex Smith. And the Chiefs really don't have much in regards to wide receivers in this case. So really, if the offense is relying on Jamal Charles, I think the Texans are going to be easily game planning for that. And with Bill O'Brien in this system, I think that you're going to see potentially the Texans actually have a very, very good value and could raise, in fact, in their NFL odds as we get closer to the season, if indeed their quarterback situation looks to be resolved heading into training camp. So I think Houston -1.5 is actually a very, very good play here in week number 1. Another good play I think that could happen is the JETS Jets at home in week number 1 as -2.5 favorites against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland absolutely is looking like once again going to be the 4th place team in the AFC North. Really another quarterback struggle here for this team as well, whereas the Jets, even though they have some quarterback questions as well, if Geno Smith's Week 17 performance is any indication of what this season is to come for him, the Jets could be looking at a playoff bid this season. Their defense should be one of the best in the entire NFL, and against an offense like the Cleveland Browns with little to no offense and really no running game either, I think you could see the Jets dominate this game as 2.5 favorites. I've already seen this line rise up, in fact, a little bit to 3 as well. So take the you could be able to take the Jets here at -2.5 early and get some really, really good values. It could be north of 3.5 once we get into game time here later in September. Next one here, a little bit of a speculative pick here, but the St. Louis Rams are +3 underdogs at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Obviously, the Seahawks have a much less advantage playing on the road than they do at home, and the Rams here at the Edwards Jones Dome, potentially one of the final years they could be in St. Louis, could be out to prove why they are ready to be a playoff contender here in the NFC West. Obviously, Nick Foles, a little bit of a quarterback question here for this team, but all around, really solid defense, one of the best defensive front sevens in the entire league. I think they are going to be able to get some pressure on Russell Wilson here in this game, potentially cover this +3, may even be able to upset the Seahawks as they have done before in the past. So those are some of the early ATS looks here at some values potentially heading into week 1 of the NFL season. Make sure you check out some of my total picks as well, potentially early on here in the summer. But until then, I'm Jordan Sharp. This has been another edition of the Sharp Pick.